Well, a rather monumental decision on the table, courtesy of a new report that was offered up to the IOC today. It determined that transgender athletes should be allowed to compete at the Olympics as well as other international events without having undergone sex reassignment surgery. And this is a big step forward. The rules that were on the books as of 2003 said that all athletes partaking in these international events had to undergo the surgery and have been classified with that for 2 years before being able to compete. Now they just need to maintain a level of testosterone below a certain threshold for 12 months, meaning no more surgery officially required. And this is a very interesting, very complex sort of situation. And of course, we've got three people here who I think have a very vested interest in this story.
Things were getting so heated in the commercial break between Struds and I, and we realized that Marni was on the parent panel tonight. She's a trans athlete, and so we're like, why not have you join the conversation?
Cool.
So
Yeah,
when you heard that this was announced, what was your opinion?
About time. Because I have actually competed. I run in the World Masters Games every 4 years, and I did try to compete in Torino in 2013, and I wasn't allowed to compete with the women for a lot of these reasons, and they follow the same rules that IOC follows. But in 2017, I will be able to compete with women. And whether I have surgery or not is frankly nobody's business. What I have noticed though, like when you're on even a year's worth of hormones, everything changes. I have absolutely none benefit compared to any other woman that's running. Where I used to run in the top 10-15% of men, I now finish around the top 10-15% of women. That benefit is gone.
What I think is interesting is if I competed in women's volleyball, and if there was somebody, a male who had made the switch to transgender female and was competing, I would be fine with that because I don't think that somebody would take hormones for 12 months just to compete in that sport. They would work their butt off in the gym, they would do what everybody else was doing, and so I would be fine actually competing against somebody. But Struds disagreed with me.
I do, and this is, I'm not a doctor, but I have pretty strong feelings about this. Now, as far as I know, I've never heard of a woman being able to run or jump or throw anything faster than a man. So now, as a male trans does the shift over to being a woman and express herself that way, when she enters a competition, I believe naturally the engine, the vehicle would be that much stronger for all those things. So is it fair for let's just take for instance high jump? You've got a high jump competitor who's been fantastic. She's done great, and now she's competing against a trans woman, and all of a sudden now they're different vehicles. There's different engines in there, and she loses. Is that still the same level playing field that we all hope is in the Olympics?
In my experience, and in the experience of any athlete that I've spoken to, any transgender athlete, in, again, a year of hormone treatment, I have lost all the strength, the endurance, the speed that I once had. There is no benefit. And I think that's really important to recognize that. And then there's another issue with that is when you're coming out as a transgender person, you've already been oppressed and you're already fighting against the system for most of your life. Whatever benefit there is to your training, you don't have the same access to training, you don't have the same access to healthcare. You have all these other things that really mitigate any of those possible benefits, but there aren't any. And you look at Claire and I, when we stand up together, we're the same size. Right, so you can't say that girls should be this size and boys should be this size. And for the record, I've always been a girl. I didn't change to a girl.
Marni, I'm curious.
Well, yeah.
That's good point. Now I'm curious if we take a male sport and find a transgender male competing in that.
Yeah.
So let's say I've been a male my life and I decide to take the hormones to become to compete in that category. How would the difference be there? Because would I then have more strength and more speed than before and be able to compete at that level where right now if I competed in a male sport, I would definitely not be at that level.
And that's why the key is the testosterone levels, because if you've been taking testosterone for all that time, you are going to bulk up, you are going to have different endurance, different strength, your muscles will change, your body will change so that you will compete with the men. That only makes sense. For the same reasons that not having testosterone in my body at those same levels makes me like any other girl out there.
And it's going to be very interesting because this report, the hope, the expectation is that this will be in place for Rio this year. So perhaps we will see the first sort of Sorry.
But I was going to say,
yeah.
but you started out saying you're absolutely right. But let's be clear that there's been transgender people that have been competing in the
Oh, for
Olympics
sure,
as women
for sure.
many, many years.
It's
the
just
only
the
difference
yeah,
is
the boundary
that
is
they
different.
didn't have testicles.
Exactly.
Right? And if you do have them, the hormones don't change when you are on that treatment.
Marni, thank you. Honestly,
this is
thank
great.
you. I
Yeah.
learn something from you every week. And
Likewise.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to the debate will rage on, but now we have a lot more information thanks to you. We're going to take a quick break here in Dinner Television. I'll come back with more action, including Bridget Ryan doing some great cooking down at Get Cooking.
Hair services supplied by Carrie L Salon and Spa, supplier of Jane Airedale Cosmetics, located in the heart of downtown with free customer parking.